Welcome back to the OCAD Sports Report. My name is Avishai Sol. I am your host, and we have had another great week in the world of sports. I've had a great week in the world of my sports because I have started playing indoor pickup basketball again. I haven't done it in, I don't know, we're coming on 2 years now almost since COVID hit. But it's exceptionally poignant for me because when COVID hit on March whatever 10th, it's almost like a "where were you" moment. They say that about Kennedy and 9/11, and it's sort of like a were you when you first heard about COVID hitting? And I had just finished a game of rec basketball in the same league I'm about to start now, and I'll never forget it. We just finished. I forget if we won or lost, but I remember I went back to the bench with everybody else, and we all picked up our phones, and the world was shutting down, and I subwayed home feeling weird, and so it feels good to come back almost 2 years later. It's almost like a full circle thing for me. So it's a personal anecdote. I'm excited, and I feel good about that. We got a lot more laughs though coming up. Let's start the show. In the world of hockey, the Toronto Maple Leafs are on a bit of a hot streak now. At the time of this recording, the Leafs have won 5 games in a row, and they are off and running. Jason Spezza in particular has been playing really well. Now that we're in this grace period, can someone please talk to Austin Matthews about the mustache? I'm sorry, I get it. I know the facial hair culture is big in the world of hockey, but it's a pedo stash. I'm sorry. I know it's Movember, but it's bad. In Olympic news, the Olympic Committee has made a rule change regarding the Summer Olympics, particularly women's handball. The rule change was regarding the dress code for the games. Women will now be allowed to wear shorts over their bikini uniforms if they choose. Which, good. I didn't know that was a rule before, but it's good they changed it. Probably a good thing. Moving on to cricket. I know cricket, right? New Zealand defeats Afghanistan, which just alone is a hilarious sentence, right? Can you imagine how weird that game must be? I don't know what it's like for those players, but just thinking about coming out of Afghanistan and then going up against, no worries, mate. That's my New Zealand accent. I don't know if that's at all accurate. I can keep going. Oh, you gotta hit the cricket ball with the cricket bat, and all right. Yeah, I bet it's rough in there Afghanistan, mate. That's probably terrible. I don't know. It's fine. But either way, New Zealand defeats Afghanistan, and that's got to be weird. In football news, the NFL is conducting an investigation into league reigning MVP Aaron Rodgers about his honesty in abiding by the league's health and safety protocols. In short, Rodgers doesn't seem to be vaccinated, although he has been playing in all of the Green Bay Packers games thus far. This could result in fines or even a suspension for Rodgers, because it's a big difference between whether he was just unaware or whether there was a miscommunication or whether he was just flat out lying to the league. I gotta say, this has got to be great for the anti-vaxxer community. They put Kyrie Irving on a pedestal, and he's a tatted up black basketball player who celebrated Ramadan last year. Just imagine how excited they're gonna get with this white football star who shares the same surname with Captain Home of the Free America. Despite how backwards the anti-vaxxers are, I'm almost a little happy for them. In the world of soccer, West Ham defeats Liverpool to snap Liverpool's 25-game winning streak. That ends the run, which was currently the longest winning streak in the history of top-flight English football. Now, I don't support any one soccer team or football club particularly, but when I do, it's usually Liverpool. And so now you can't complain after 25 straight wins, but it does feel a little rough when it hits like that. So I wrote, I was sad, and I wrote a little song commemorating my feelings in the moment. It goes a little something like this. Damn it! Okay. In basketball news, Phoenix Suns owner Robert Sarver has been in some hot water lately. There's an investigation going into him. Apparently, the man is a racist misogynist. ESPN released an article about how Sarver conducts himself within the organization and as a manager, as an owner. Apparently, 20 anonymous people within the Suns organization have come forward about Sarver's conduct. Now, these are, at the time of this recording, these are all just allegations, but 20 people, it's not nothing. And here's the real reason why I personally believe this. It's not because he's an old white millionaire, and it's not because, it is because 20 people have come forward, but that's not this reason in particular. I was listening to a basketball podcast the other day called The Real Ones, produced by The Ringer, on the Ringer NBA show, where Logan Murdoch and former NBA player Raja Bell were talking about the Sarver accusation. Sarver was the owner of Raja Bell. Raja Bell, he was a journeyman player, never really a superstar, but had a really good career and had his best years playing for the Suns. And he told this story on that podcast. He said, during his peak, around the mid-2000s, he had a working lunch with Sarver and head coach Mike D'Antoni about a contract extension for Bell. He sat down with both of them, he talked, and he basically was like, listen, my family loves it here, I love it here, we're playing great, I'm having the best basketball season of my career. What do you say about giving me an extension? And Sarver responded like this. He said, I agree with you. You are playing very well, and you are definitely deserving of an extension. But I'm not going to give it to you. And Raja was like, why not? And Sarver said, because I don't have to. Now, what does that story tell us? It doesn't say he's a racist, and it doesn't say he's a misogynist. But what it does say is that he's an asshole. And those things usually go hand in hand. Biggest moment in sports this past week came in boxing, where super middleweight champ Canelo Alvarez knocked out Caleb Plant to become the 6th ever undisputed boxing champion in history. What does that mean? It means that he holds world titles for his weight class in all 4 major connecting organizations simultaneously. That's the WBA, the WBC, the WBO, and the IBF. All sanctioning organizations, and he's the super middleweight champ in all of them, as well as other weight classes. Plant had never been knocked out before in his professional career until he met a triple hook combination from Alvarez in the mid-11th round. This is a big win for King Canelo's home country of Mexico, as he's the first undisputed champion to come out of the country. Boxing is very popular there, and we've seen the influence a great champion can have on his sport within a country like that. We remember the success of Manny Pacquiao popularizing boxing in the Philippines. The same can be said for Robert Duran in his home country of Panama, but it goes beyond boxing too. Yao Ming popularizing basketball in China. Hakeem Olajuwon in Africa. Pele bringing football to European football to different parts of the world. The influence a great champion can have on his home country and his sport. We're feeling it in Toronto with Steve Nash and Vince Carter, right? Basketball was not big in Toronto before the peak of their careers, and then it started, and we're reaping the rewards of that talent boom now. Alvarez is the face of boxing now. He's one of the most entertaining fighters to watch. He's incredibly skilled. He's a world champion. He's got knockout power. He's got the accolades, the belts, And he is so sexy. Which leads us to our main segment today, which is what makes a superstar like that? Now, first, it's obvious. He needs to be dominant within his sport. Alvarez is that. We've seen it with Tom Brady, 7 Super Bowls, Michael Jordan, 6 championships. The dominance is given, of course. But more than that, it goes beyond that. What else? Well, for one, it's style. You got to be distinctive. It's what made the difference. The first thing that comes to mind for me is Kobe Bryant versus Tim Duncan in the mid-2000s. Kobe Bryant was the face of the league, but Tim Duncan has just as many championships. He has more finals MVPs, more regular season MVPs, although Kobe was the face of the league. Why? Not just because he was exceptional, which he was, but because of his style. He was more entertaining. And that matters. All these things matter. When you get to a certain level of dominance, these little things start to make real distinctive differences. Another thing that makes a true world champion is their influence beyond their sport. Now, celebrity comes in a variety of forms, and often when it comes to athletes, this is movies or TV or commercials, right? Space Jam, or Peyton Manning in making, what was it? He was in Modern Family, or Mike Tyson in the Hangover franchise, right? It's easy for athletes to make that jump from the sports channels to the big screen because they just got to show up and it's automatically funny. But this has also come in more substantial forms: activism, politics. You remember Colin Kaepernick kneeling during the anthem, but also it goes back as far as Muhammad Ali. That's what made him not just a legend within boxing, but a legend within social activism and American history. So once you can transcend your sport, you don't just become a champion within boxing, basketball, football, wherever. You become a champion on the American stage and on the world stage. Now, the last piece of this puzzle, which I've found for what creates a true superstar, it's a little more subtle than just fame or fortune or style or dominance. It's how the opposing fans react to them. It comes when Ronaldo scores in the World Cup, and how the opposing fan base is almost like, of course he would. It's Ronaldo. He's maybe the best goal scorer ever, right? It comes when Steph Curry comes to town, fans come to the stadium early to watch him warm up, just to see what shots he'll hit in warm-ups, to see what comes next. It comes when Mike Tyson makes Buster Douglas's career just because he lost to him once. Tyson was not nearly at his. He was fully coked up for that fight. Buster Douglas beat him, and now Buster Douglas is a famous name throughout sports. The effect a true superstar can have on the people around them is a real litmus test of their power and influence within their craft. They almost start to transcend winning or losing, and they just become a joy to watch work. Which leads us to our final segment of the week, which is Athlete of the Week. This week's Athlete of the Week, my Aunt Karen. Aunt Karen sent a group email this week to all of her nieces and nephews explaining to us that we don't call our grandparents nearly enough. Now, I take grievance with that because I don't call my grandparents at all, which is on me. I got to do that. It's a problem. I love my grandparents. I'm just busy. I forget, and I don't mean to be rude. I like talking to them, but I mean, it's tough. There's a lot of things going on, and sometimes you just blank on it. But as Aunt Karen's right. I got to talk to them more, and yeah. So Aunt Karen's our athlete of the week. This has been the OCAD Sports Report. My name is Avishai Sol, and I will see you all next week.